Let me see if I can share my screen one more time. Okay, guys, we're live on our Zoom call every Monday at 7. We're also on TikTok. If y'all have any questions related to the AutoBody business workshop, if you're a technician, if you're a shop owner, if you're looking to transition from a technician to a business owner, if you're looking to figure out the business structure for an automotive shop, best way to set that up. If you're looking to purchase a building, if you're looking to get financing for equipment, if you're looking to start to do insurance claims, how do you get those insurance claims? If you're kind of all over the place with the type of repairs that you do, we can actually straighten all that stuff out and get you in line, uh, so you can start to see growth within your business. So what we're going to cover tonight is I'm going to go over hiring help. If you're a smaller business, if you're a smaller shop, and you know if you're trying to get some jobs in and you're trying to find help, how do you going to hire help and manage them to make sure they deliver on the job. The common problem that I see with most shop owners is is whenever they get jobs in, maybe they're running the shop by themselves, and they're not in a position to hire full-time help. So what they do is they try to find maybe part-time help, people to help them, on the weekends, or maybe I've had some people where they actually have a full-time job, and they actually have people working at their shop during the week, and then they go at night and help them out. And what tends to happen is they tend to overpay them, and the work doesn't get done. And the reason being is because maybe you're paying this person hourly, or you're paying them a salary, and you're not paying them based off of the repair needed to be done on the vehicle. So a lot of times what tends to happen is there's not an accurate estimate. So because there's not an accurate estimate, you're not able to break down what the body labor is, what the paint labor is, how much material you have, what other expenses might come up. So you're kind of just guessing how much the job's going to cost. And because you're guessing, what tends to happen is you'll end up not making a profit. Let me see if I can do this real quick. You'll end up cutting into your profit, and that really sucks. So a couple of things that you can do to make sure that you have let's see. Some of the things that you can do to make sure that you're going into these jobs prepared. When someone calls you and they're asking you for a quote uh, for their vehicle, and you want to make sure that you're giving them an accurate quote. You want to make sure that you're giving them an accurate quote, uh, so you know what you're actually getting into, right? What tends to happen a lot with a lot of first time shop owners or business owners is they'll do ballpark estimates. Someone will come in and they'll say, "Hey, how much to restore my car?" And they kind of look at it and they say, "You know what? I'll charge you $5,000 to do it," right? But what they fail to do is they fail to actually break down how much labor it's going to be for the body, how much labor for the paint, how much for the material, what's an estimated timeline, and so they're unable to contract any of that work out because they don't have an accurate number. The proper way to do it is if someone comes to you and they say, "Hey, I want you to do work on my car," you want to break it down. Okay, how much body time is gonna take me? How much paint time is gonna take me? And then get a price on all your material. Okay. Also, you want to make sure that if there's any parts involved, also miscellaneous stuff, because the miscellaneous stuff will actually catch up to you, and the miscellaneous stuff will cut into your profit margins. So you want to make sure that you have an itemized estimate for any job that you're doing, no matter if you're doing it at home or if you're doing it at a shop or wherever you're doing it. You want to make sure you have a detailed estimate of what exactly you're going to do. Another thing that's going to be very important is to make sure that you have an authorization form. Like, this is very important. Make sure you have an authorization form, something giving you permission, to work on that vehicle. Because look, if you give someone a price for X amount and they say, go ahead and do it, and because you're so excited and you just jump into it, what might happen is what if they don't have the money to finish paying you? Or what if they say, hey, they're not happy with, how fast you're doing it, and they want to take the car somewhere else, or whatever the case. If there's no documentation that y'all made an agreement on a price, then they really don't owe you anything. They could take the car without even paying you, because you failed to get an authorization form. You failed to say, hey, I'm charging you this much amount. Are you okay with that? And then they need to sign for that. A couple places you can get authorizations form. You can get them from Amazon. This you can look up a vehicle authorization form, right? Or vehicle proposal form, or vehicle estimating sheet, and you can find maybe it's gonna be like a white one, a pink one, and a yellow one, and you fill it out, and you put everything you're gonna do on there. You have them sign it, you sign it, and then that's an agreement that y'all have locked in. A lot of shop owners, a lot of first time guys that call me, they'll message me on Instagram or within our private mastermind group, is they always forget to get the authorization form. They always forget to get those filled out. And what tends to happen is now it's your word against their word, on the repair that needs to be done. And so let's say if you finish the car and it's done and you call them to come pick it up and they don't have the money. So now the car's sitting there for a couple of weeks, and now, you're out of that money. The vehicle becomes a liability because you're unable to deliver the vehicle, and now it's costing you money to be there. And when I say it's a liability, you have this vehicle that you invested money and you invested time in, and it's just sitting in your shop. It's sitting there now that it's a risk, because it could get hit by someone else. It can get scratched. It could get broken into. So now you took on all that responsibility and all that risk. So with an authorization form, you can say, hey, you know what? After the vehicle is done, if you're not here to pick it up within 48 hours, I can start to charge you storage for it, because you are technically storing that vehicle for them. Another thing that comes up a lot is, are you using your space effectively? And what I mean by that is, like, let's say if you have a building that's 2,000 square feet, but you got these restoration jobs in there, and basically what they're doing is they're just using your business for storage. They say, hey, go ahead and do it. Do you mind if I pay you in payments? I don't care how long it takes. Just make sure that that work is getting done on it. What tends to happen is, maybe you charge them $6,000 or $8,000, but their car's been there for 6 months. They're paying you payments, and it's not even halfway done yet, or it's not even a quarter way done yet. But basically, what they're doing is they're paying you for storage, and now you're in a hole, because now you have to get this vehicle done. The money that they paid you, you used it to pay the rent and pay all this overhead, so you're actually losing money. So Don't tie up your shop and make it a storage shop for people that say, hey, I'm gonna bring you my car, but I don't care how long it's gonna take. Take all the time you want. Do you mind if I pay you in payments? Like, don't get into that mess because that thing will come back and haunt you because you'll have that car there forever. What tends to happen is, let's say for example, you could fit 8 cars in your shop, right? You have a building that can fit 8 cars, right? And 4 of those cars are restoration jobs, and 4 of those cars have been there for a year, and they're not even halfway done yet. What you did was you bottlenecked your shop, like you bottlenecked it because now you only have half the space to work with, right? And so what you did was you minimized how much profit you can make because think about it like this. So every car that you can fit in your building, let's say you could fit, 15 cars, right? Okay. Every car that sits there for longer than a month and it's not being worked on, right? Let's say it's just a restoration job or whatever. It's actually taking up real estate. It's actually costing you money to have that car there because the average insurance claim is about $3,500. So if there's a car that sit there for about maybe 2 months, and think about it like this. So that car's been sitting there for 2 months, right? Okay. How many jobs could you have done? Small jobs could you have done in 2 months with that same amount of space? You see what I'm saying? So you got to make sure that you're using your shop effectively, and you want to get rid of. They're called dead cows. Like you don't want to have these dead cows that are just sitting there collecting dust, taking your real estate. Now it's like storage. It's a waste of time. You want to get rid of that stuff. Another thing too is you don't want to become a parts hoarder. I see a lot of shops that the guys, they want to save every part that they don't use. Like they have a vehicle, they're like, oh, that's a good fender, I'm going to save it. That headlight's cracked, but I can fix it. I'm going to save it. And so what happens is they have a bunch of just junk everywhere of saving parts. Like get rid of that. Get rid of that, and remember that it's a transaction base. So you want to keep turning those spots in your building. Think of it almost as a restaurant, right? A restaurant with tables. Okay. You want to turn those tables as much as possible each month. You don't want, you don't want to have tables just filled with this junk because now what happens is it limits how much people you can put into that space. So with vehicles, you almost want to map out your building, right? So let's say if you can fit 20 cars in your building, you want to map it out. Like you want to draw it out and you want to say, okay, I can fit cars here, 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 and here. And that's going to be real estate. That's going to be money for you because even on the outside, if you can put cars on the outside, that also can make you money. And let me tell you why. Let's say you have a back storage area that has a bunch of junk and the grass is real high and there's junk cars back there, right? But what if you were to clean that back space out, and now that let's say a vehicle comes in and it might be a total loss, you could park that total loss back there and wait till you get approval for the estimate for the insurance. And let's just say that vehicle becomes a total loss and you've had that car for a month. So now you get to charge a tear down, you get to charge an admin fee, then you get to charge storage. So you get to charge all that stuff. So that spot on the back actually is also making you money. So you want to make sure that you're using every area of your building. Let me see who's on. You want to make sure you're using every area of your building. So that you're making money with everything, okay? Let me see. I'm turning the chat on. If you're on our YouTube, if you joined us on YouTube on our Zoom, if you have any questions, please ask any questions, and we can dive into that. I'm open to hear any questions you have, any obstacles that you're currently up against. Let me know what that is. You know, the building space is going to be very important to make sure that you keep that clean and effective. So think of it like this, right? Everywhere, draw your building out, and then everywhere that you can put a vehicle, that's potential income, right? Okay. Where you can't put a vehicle, that's called dead space. Dead space is where you're going to put, some of your equipment, maybe toolboxes, stuff that you can't fit a vehicle. That you want to use your dead space for that. So now, where your dead space is at, you have all your equipment, your tools and stuff, and then wherever you can fit vehicles, that spot's open, and you can even get more detailed with it. Like the way we have it set up here is like we have a drawing of the building, and then we have outside, right? And then every spot is numbered. So also, and then we have a key, like a board. We have a board that has every number on it, right? So let's just say, for example, if there's a vehicle parked in the back along the fence, and that spot is number 12. Okay, we have a board that says number 12, so the keys are going to be there. Because what tends to happen is if you have vehicles everywhere, you're going to lose keys, and so you want to have a board with all the keys where they need to be at. That way, anybody can find the, those keys. Diego has a question. I had a car for 2 months. Insurance has been taking forever. Finding a total loss. How can I get paid for it for the time I had vehicle store? Uh, so Diego, you have to they're gonna they're can I add you in on the call? Can you talk? I'm gonna add you so if you want to talk. Let's see how do I do this. Let me see. Diego, Diego. Let me see if Diego wants to come on. Let me know if you want to come on, Diego, and I can help you answer that question. If not, I'll just answer it. Diego, so Diego's question is: I had a car for 2 months. Insurance has been taking up forever. Finding a total loss. How can I get paid for the time I had the vehicle inside the shop? So you need to create an invoice. You got to create an invoice, Diego. And when you create the invoice, they're gonna want to come pick it up. Okay. They're gonna want to come pick it up, and when they come pick it up, you present them that invoice. If it's a total loss, usually what will happen is uh, Copart will probably come pick it up, and they'll actually pay you. They'll actually pay you to take it. So make sure that you have an itemized invoice. Okay, they need an invoice, and more likely the insurance is not going to pick it up. The the Copart is going to pick it up, and when they pick it up, you give them that bill, and they'll usually write a check. I hope I was able to answer that question right there. But yeah, on the store on the how do I go back to this? On the I don't know how my screen went by. I'm trying to figure out. I don't know why I don't know how to get Diego off. Hmm. Okay, so let me see. Why is it not doing that? Let me see. It's cool, Diego. Did I answer your question, Diego? Let me know if I answered your question, Diego, about that. Okay. Yeah, man, create the invoice. Like I said, the insurance is gonna send they'll usually send um Copart to come pick it up. And and whenever they pick it up, just adjust the days of storage. You know, just adjust the days, and they there shouldn't be any issues with them paying you for that. Okay, there it is. Okay. Yeah, the thing is, sorry, I was trying to get my screen to go back on, but yeah, so the thing is if you have invoices for that stuff, they will pay you. Okay. Do the days start from the day it got here or when the no, so it starts from the day you got it. It starts from the day that it dropped it off. Okay. You want to make sure that you have the authorization form though. Okay. Uh, that way, just in case they say something. Okay. You want to make sure you have authorization form. But yeah, just make sure that you have your numbers right. You like I said, you could charge them. If you disassembled the car, if you tore it down, you could charge them for that, and then you could charge them for an admin fee. The admin fee is for you just to kind of go through all the process of the total loss process. You have to make sure that you submit the photos, you did the supplement, you did everything that they needed to determine it was a supplement. So that's an admin fee right there. Okay. Also, make sure if you have any store any tow charges, if you got it towed in, you can actually add those tow charges. Okay. Another thing too that you can add, a lot of people don't know this, but if you have, you know how whenever you disassemble the front end of a vehicle and you take the radiator off, and a lot of times that radiator fluid gets all over the shop and it makes a mess, and you have to put that kitty litter on there to clean it up. You can actually charge for that. That's a hazardous waste cleanup. You know, someone had to clean that. You know, and someone had to dispose of that. So remember all these little things, man. If you had to clean up the glass, if you had to vacuum the car for the glass, that's very that's hazardous. That's a hazard thing because it's broken glass. So remember all these little things that you're doing. A lot of times we just kind of start to go through the motions of getting the car fixed, and we're doing a lot of operations that we should be getting paid for. Okay. Uh, Let me know if you have any questions. I'm also on YouTube. If you have any questions on YouTube, I'll be happy to answer all those questions for you. We're also on TikTok. Uh, but yeah, that's how that works. Uh, make sure you're getting paid for that, man. Make sure you're getting paid for it, and get the money for that. You know. Let me see what else we can talk about. Let me see. They go at those questions. Okay. Okay, we're good over here. On supplements, let's talk about supplements for a little bit. Whenever we submit those supplements, uh, the supplements are going to be very important because also too, there's a lot of operations that we're performing on that we need to get paid for. You know, most shops, most smaller shops, don't have estimating systems, and because they don't have estimating systems, the insurance company, I think, might take a little bit of advantage of that because they're not prepared. You know, I know I mentioned a while back, you can start getting an estimating system. Use WebEst. WebS, that's going to be probably the cheapest estimating system you can get. The thing with that, I don't think it has the price parts. But what it does is like it has a lot of, you can manually enter stuff in. So take the time, like I said, take the time and do these estimates, do the estimates correctly and take your time and, call and see how much certain things are, panel bond, any kind of seam sealer, uh, uh, well-through primer, self-etching primer, any specialty, material that you might need, put it on there, put it on there. The best thing to do is, let's say, for example, you're going to put a panel bond, right? Okay. You want to put you can do a manual entry, and you could put panel bond, and you could put like 3M, you could put the part number, and then put the source. So if you're buying it from, let's say you're buying it from Napa, right, or O'Reilly's or wherever, put the source, put O'Reilly's, and then put the phone number there. You're providing the source of where you're going to get that from. And so now it makes it more credible that, hey, this is how much it's going to be. And so if they want to call and verify the price, they can, because what a lot of shops will do is they'll put panel bond and they'll just put $50, right? They put this round, they put just a number out there, and the number's not accurate what it actually cost. So if you make it as accurate as possible, they're more likely to pay you for it. Okay. You can also do it with coolant, anything that's used for the car, windshield washer fluid, all that stuff, light bulbs, clips, whatever you can get paid for, get paid for it, because you're doing the operation. So there's no reason why you can't get paid for it. Okay. Like I said, use WebEst. If you don't have an estimating system, don't worry about it costing you. Maybe, I think I want to say it's like free for the first 30 days or something. And then I want to say it's like $99 or something. You're gonna make that back on one estimate. Like, don't get caught up on the price. What you're doing is you're paying to have that system and that structure, so that when you present a supplement, it's more presentable. Okay. Also, too, whenever you're submitting a supplement, don't just put all OEM parts. Like if you know the parts are aftermarket and they're available, put them aftermarket. You don't have to put, because what's going to do is whenever you submit a supplement and you put all OEM parts on there, and they know that the parts are available aftermarket, they're gonna dismiss your supplement, and they're just gonna, like, you're just playing, like, it becomes a game after that. You know what I'm saying? So do it as accurate as possible, and that way there's no delays. They're not trying to cut corners and stuff. You gotta be careful with that. And also too, I want to say with the WebEst, it'll actually give you labor prices. So a lot of times, whenever you're doing an estimate, whenever you receive an estimate from an insurance company, you don't know if they adjusted the labor rates or not at the time on certain things, right? For example, let's say there's 2 hours to R&I fender or whatever. What if they put it to 1.3? You're not going to know that if you don't have an estimating system. All those little points and those, 0.5, 0.3, they add up. And whenever you're doing an estimate on a system, it's going to give you the right amount of time on there. And you want to make sure that it matches up from the estimate. Also too, you want to make sure you're doing your scans, pre and post scan. One thing that is a transport fee. Okay, if you have to, let's say you have to take a vehicle to get an alignment, you can charge a transport fee because you need to take that vehicle to get the alignment done. Okay, that's a transport fee, a transport fee. you're actually performing the operation. Like you're having to take it, someone's having to pick you up. So you can actually charge for that. Okay. Let me know if you have any questions. We have this is like 2 more minutes left, but I'm down to answer any questions that you might have. And like I said, we're here every Monday at 7. Typically they run 30 minutes. Sometimes they run over depending on what we're talking about, depending on the topic. But also you can find me if you go to my YouTube, you can find me on if you search Massive Action Stan Medina, you'll find me there. You can go to my link tree and you'll find my Instagram. You'll find the Instagram. And also, there's an opportunity for you to sign up for the free Zoom that we have every Monday at 7. So if you have any questions, you can ask those questions, put them in the chat, and I'll answer your questions. You can also DM me on Instagram. I'll also reach out to you and help you with any questions that you have. We also have AutoBody Business Alliance Group that is $99 a month. But what it is like we get on a call once a week and we work through certain obstacles within your business, or even just to transition through. Maybe you're a technician and you're trying to earn more money, or you're a technician and you're trying to start your business, or you're a first-time shop owner and you're like trying to hire people, you're trying to figure out systems, or you know what? A lot of times I'm just like I'm almost like a partner. So a lot of guys, they subscribe to our alliance group and it's $99 a month. But what it is, it gives them 24 access to me. So a lot of times when they're running their business, they're doing their day-to-day business, they might run into a situation and they're like, shit, who do I call? And so they have my number. It says, hey, Stan, I have this question. What should I do in the situation? And a lot of times it's helpful because, there's a lot of things that come up, throughout the day that you gotta have someone to give you some input or some advice on. You know what I'm saying? Um, so so for example, we had a guy that I think he was out of Albuquerque, and he had a vehicle that he had been working on for a very long time, and he was telling me, he's like, man, I have this vehicle and I'm sick of this vehicle. I want to just get it done. You know, the guy kind of doesn't really have the money, and I need to get it done because it's in the way, and I'm not trying to do this, this custom vehicle anymore, and he wants all these modifications, and my body man are unable to do the modifications, so then I have to do it. But when I do it, it takes me away from like the office, and so now I'm like trying to juggle this job, right? And so I said, okay, like, how much time do you think it's going to cost you to finish it? And he says, man, I think if I have another month, I think we can finish it, right? And I said, okay, well, how much do you think it's going to cost you out of your pocket? And he's like, well, it's probably going to cost me maybe like 2 or 3 thousand. If I pay my guys, I got to get material. And I said, well, how much does the guy owe you, right? He's like, well, he owes me like 5,000. And I said, look, I said, you have two options. I said, you can either, you know, pay your guys and get the car finished, but if the guy doesn't have the money to pay you, what if you finish it and the car just sits there? Now it's a liability. It's going to cost you money. What if the car gets damaged? What if you put this fresh paint job on there and now it gets overspray? I said, you have two options. You can just finish it and hope that he pays you because there's no authorization form. So now it's like, a verbal agreement. Or you can call the guy and says, hey, you know what? I'm not going to be able to finish your vehicle. I want to give you money back. You know what I mean? Give him money back. Give him $3,000 back. And he's like, well, I did a lot of work to it. I said, I know, but what you're doing is you're paying him back. You're giving him the money back, but you're freeing yourself up to focus on your business. So you're buying your time back. So you know what? Don't think about the money. Think about the time. And so just that kind of gave him another perspective on thinking get these things done. Because I can admit there's a lot of shop owners, a lot of guys that have gotten into jobs, maybe they're restoration jobs that they wish they never started because they're just a pain. They're crap. They're crap jobs. the client really doesn't have the money, and it's like you underbid it because at the time you needed the money. Now you're in a bad spot. So you got to figure out how you're going to get out of that situation. So how do Diego has another question. How do I get the insurance company to pay your labor rates or storage rates? So the labor rates, uh, that's going to go based off of your area, right? That's gonna go based off of your current area. So what the insurance companies do, there's a post on my Instagram. If you look at some of the videos, someone posted it where it shows you what the labor rates are in your city. So if you put your zip code, it shows you what the labor rates are. Okay, but if the labor rates in your area are $50 and you want to charge 60, you're not going to be able to do that. Okay, you can't just like if the market is $50, you can't just charge 60. Okay, but what you can do is you can start to pay more attention to your estimates and start to charge for everything that you do. You understand? Because I guarantee you, like I said, I work with about maybe 15 other shops. Like we have a relationship where they're in the alliance. They have my number 24/7, and this is a common problem. They're like, hey, I want to raise my rates. I want to raise my rates because I need to make more money. I need, and I said, okay, send me over some of your estimates of the jobs you have in your vehicle in your shop. And so they said, okay, I'm gonna send you two estimates that we're working on this vehicle right now. And they sent me over the estimate, and I said, hey, y'all didn't charge for on that vehicle you did, y'all did 8 hours of body repair on the quarter panel. How come y'all didn't charge to color sand and block that? Y'all could have charged 2 hours. How come y'all didn't charge to remask and prime? Because if you primer it one time, you have to mask it, but then you have to remask it. Okay, how come you didn't charge for that? How come you didn't charge for 10 time? Or to do a test panel? How come you didn't charge for that? How come you didn't charge, for whatever the operation is? How come you didn't charge for that? Color sanding and buffing. How come you didn't charge for that? There's a lot of operations that they're not really charging for. You know what I mean? If they look at the time, and you can actually see where there's time missing. You know what I mean? Let's say if you did the quarter panel, but they didn't pay you to paint the whole pillar, or on that pillar maybe you can't blend it because it's part of the roof. So you need to supplement that. And you need to say, hey, you know what? On this vehicle, you can't cut it off right there because it's connected to the roof. So make sure you're doing those estimates accurate. Take the time and document it. And when you submit the estimate, you don't have to argue with the adjuster. Just explain to him, say, hey, this is what we're recommending. This is what we're recommending as the professionals of this. This is what we're recommending to do a quality repair. You know what I'm saying? And so a lot of times you don't have to worry about the rates. You just have to worry about if you're doing accurate estimates. Okay. Are you charging for every operation that you're doing? If you're not, you need to go back and you need to figure out, okay, what do I got to do to make it right, And if you're not sure how to do that, reach out to me, man. Like get signed up on the alliance, because guys send me estimates all the time. Hey, can you review this? Hey, they send me this. What do you think I should? What do you think I should do? For example, we had a guy send us an estimate that we were reviewing for him, and it had a used quarter panel on it, right? And I said, okay, you know what? He's like, hey, I'm just gonna get the used quarter panel and put it on. I said, well, if you go to the P pages, it says you can't reuse the quarter panel because it's glued inside the wheel well. It has a pinch weld there, and you can't reuse that. So when you do, it's gonna damage the thing. And he's like, oh shit, I didn't know that. And so we supplemented back with the new quarter panel, and he got approved for that. Also, too, are you getting cleanup time? Are you getting proper cleanup time for any used parts? Because they're going to use doors, they're going to use fenders. Are you getting cleanup time for that? Okay. So guys, hey guys, I got to go. Make sure that y'all reach out to me if I can help y'all with anything related to the AutoBody business. We had a guy that reached out to us. He has a glass company that we're looking to see if we can help him scale his business. He's a mobile guy, and hopefully we can reach out and connect and see how we can help him blow up his business. All right, guys. Till next week, if y'all have any questions, reach out to me, and we'll see y'all next week, guys. Later.